What's up, people? It's your boy MM2K of Geeks, Hard Knock Digital Culture, MM2K Gaming, and Cloud Dosage back again with a special video. I might turn this into a series where I talk about my experience with Dragon's Dogma on the NVIDIA Geforce Now Ultimate. You have to excuse the mic hit, I'm sorry about that. So what's going on here is that this is a very peculiar game. This is a game that does not play well with powerful GPU settings such as what you see in the NVIDIA Geforce Now Ultimate. There's really nothing in the game reasonably, like graphically or even worldwide, that it should bog down your GPU power. What's happening is, because of what they're trying to do with NPCs, that each NPC that you're either around or that you use straddles a lot of CPU power. So the more NPCs that you're around, the bigger the dips that you're going to realize in performance. Like, for instance, I'm out in the city or I'm out in the woods. If I'm by myself, I can get 100 frames per second with DLSS off, which was amazing to me. DLSS off, I can get anywhere between 100 to 85 frames per second in the world fighting monsters if I'm by myself. As soon as an NPC comes in the picture, then we're talking about 85 to 77%. You know what I mean? And then when you get more than one NPC in an area, you got to throw some DLSS on. I find that balanced and quality DLSS work with this game at times, but there are going to be some times where they do absolutely nothing. When you go into a city that's filled full of NPCs you can interact with or hire, you can forget it. I mean, the best PCs are seeing dips below 60 frames per second. Now, I have found a way to keep the dips between 55 and 60 when you're in the city. I've seen anywhere between 55 frames to 70 frames. Here are the settings that I have, and I'm about to show you now. So as we go through the settings, I basically go and I got everything in 4K. You can see my refresh is uncapped. Variable, I have the frame rate at variable. DLSS is at balanced, and then I got reflex latency at on boost. Okay. As we go further down, I got the texture filtering at 8. I actually have the texture quality at 3 gigabytes. And I leave everything else as is, as standard, as you can see here. So again, the biggest thing is you turn that reflex on to plus boost, right? You can have the texture quality at high 3 gigabytes. Really putting it down lower than that is not going to help, right? But the key thing in the city is to have DLSS super resolution on balance and have your upscale sharpening. Bring that down a couple of notches. If you do that, you'll notice that that the frame rates will maintain themselves. And as they maintain themselves, you'll see anywhere, like you'll see here, me roaming through the city. Like I'm even getting like 75 right now. As I roam, it'll dip to like maybe 55. You know, so that way you can get good performance in the cities. I actually have 3 NPCs with me in this playthrough, because you can see it's dipping, right? And I'm talking to different NPCs, but I actually have 3 following me. So we're going to move around the city, see how it goes. Okay, it did go down to like 51, but more commonly it'll stay at 55. It'll dip. It'll dip it. Sometimes it might even hit 40, you know what I'm saying? But as you can see, it's consistently staying at like 55 or above, even in the city. I find it when you do those quick turns and stuff like that, you'll see a real quick dip, but then it'll go back up. That is the best setting that I could discover at the moment to maintain like 55 to 70 and keep it more to the 70 unbound with the 70 as you traverse through the city. Again, that's a lot of frames that you're moving. That's like 20 frames that you're moving. It can still cause some stutter because of that, but at least it's not going down too low. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's optimization with the game, problems that you're going to run through with the game, because how poorly optimized it is. And in NVIDIA GeForce now, none of it is its fault. It's doing everything that any of the top 1% PCs are doing at the moment. So that's what I'm noticing. Another thing that I've done, right? And I'll show you guys another thing that I've done in the game is I decided to mess around a little bit and try quality mode, right? Instead of balanced. I said, let me try quality mode. Let me see how well quality mode will work in the DLSS function, because I'm getting like 80. I'm like, yo, I'm getting a lot of frames outside of the city. Let's see, what the balance is outside and inside the city if I take DLSS super resolution from balance to quality. So you can see right now, I'm moving it to quality, leaving all the other settings the same. I'm going to move about in the city, in the outskirts. And as you can see, my frames did go down considerably, but that's because you got to remember that the base resolution for balanced versus quality is balanced is, I believe, 1440p, where quality is 1800p, and it's being upscaled from 1800p. But I'm still getting good frames. I'm still over 60 frames per second. You're going to get a little bit of judder only because, again, the frames are all over the place. I wish they would give you a hard number, a specific number that you can cap the frames in. But let's do this. We're going to travel into the city. As we get closer and closer to the city, let's see what happens to the frames as we do that. So we're moving into the city. Now the frames are going down. So instead of me maintaining a threshold of like 50 and above, as you can see in some areas, it's going as low as 48. You know what I'm saying? So you are making a compromise in the city when you try to, go at quality mode. It's going to dip down further. But it all depends on how much of a need you have for the visuals. I personally can handle anything above 45 frames per second. Once I notice that it gets lower than 45 frames per second, I'm out. I start getting nauseated. I start getting headaches, and I can't deal with it. So I can handle 48 to like a 60 in the city. I can deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Even though the judders are annoying, I can deal with it. If you can't, then use those settings that I told you about before and keep it at balanced. Just keep it at balanced. Again, remember to take that image upscaling, bring that down, keep it at balance. But if you want some better visuals and you can handle like 48 to 60, then I would highly recommend that you put it on quality mode for DLSS. Okay, so that was my experience with the game. I hope you appreciate it. Until next time, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.